My name is Zachary Flebbe.
And I'm Will Camacho, and we will be talking about Prolog, which is a logical programming language.
Just some background about Prolog. Prolog was first conceived in France by Alain Camacho in the early 1970s. The first Prolog system was developed in 1972, and it's one of the first logical programming languages. To the right is the Prolog logo, which is an owl.
And pictured to the right is the creator of Prolog. So how Prolog works is it is a declarative language, so you do not directly write how to solve a problem like you do in imperative language such as C and C++. Instead, you say what you want, not how you want it done. You express the problem in terms of relations, and these relations are broken down into two types, which are called facts and rules. You then run a query against these relations, and it will tell you whether these relations are true and false, depending on these defined facts and rules. This is very similar to what we've done in SQL.
As Will said, relations are broken up into two categories, facts and rules, both of which start with a lowercase letter and end with a period. Facts are the truths of our program. They can be simple statements like this is a fact, or they can take another form of a relation with arguments in parentheses. The rules allow us to make conclusions. Often they relate back to the facts. A rule has a form of conclusion with arguments in parentheses with a colon and a hyphen. Everything before the colon is the head. Everything after the hyphen is the body. Rules can have multiple definitions. If one definition fails, it'll try the next, and so on.
And now we will be moving on to our demonstration. So first we define some facts in our text file, which we named demo.txt. The facts are: this is CS341, this presentation is informative, is presenting with arguments Zach and Will, next week is finals, didn't finish with arguments Zach in project 8, didn't finish with arguments Will in project 8, and has in possession with arguments Hummel and water bottle.
In our text file, we also define several rules, the first of which is students are stressed with the condition next week is finals. The next rule is project 8 was too hard with the conditions didn't finish, Zach and project 8, and didn't finish, Will, project 8. Our next rule is hydrated with the variable who. The conditions are this is CS341 and has in possession, variable who, and water bottle. Another rule is final canceled with the condition this is CS341. And the final rule is deserves an A with variables person 1 and person 2 with the conditions this is CS341, this presentation is informative, and is presenting with variables person 1 and person 2.
Now we will show how to produce a query in Prolog. The first step is you need to add all the rules and facts to a text file like we did in the previous two slides. Then use the command consult, which opens up this text file. In our case, we use consult demo.txt. And finally, you request facts or rules and refer to any variables with an uppercase letter.
And now we will show a demonstration of the Prolog system. As we mentioned before, the first command is consult demo.txt followed by a period. This opens the demo.txt file. If we type in a command with the invalid parameters such as Jeff and Bob, this will return false. This is because this is not defined in the text file. If we change the parameters to Zach and Will, the command will return true. We can also replace a name with a variable, for example, who. Who will then return Zach. Or we can replace both names with variables, person 1 and person 2. As you can see, person 1 is equal to Zach and person 2 is equal to Will.
Another cool feature about Prolog is if you mistype a query just very slightly, it will actually give you a suggestion on what you meant. In this case, we use this is CS342, and then S, did you mean this is CS341? You type Y for yes, and it returns true. can now try another fact, such as next week is finals. And since it is properly defined in our text file, it returns true. We can also try a rule, students are stressed. And because the relations are also properly defined within the text file, this query also returns true. Now we can try a fact with another variable. In this case, we will replace project 8 with what? And it returns that what equals project 8. And finally, we can test another rule using project 8 was too hard. And since these relations are also properly defined, it also returns true.
If we use the command has in possession with Hummel and what is returned as water bottle. If we type in the rule is hydrated with who is returned as Hummel. As we know, Professor Hummel is always hydrated. This presentation is informative is returned as true. Because this presentation is informative, if we type in the command deserves an A with the variables person 1 and person 2, person 1 is returned as Zach and person 2 is returned as Will. That means that Zach and Will deserve an A.
And we will test our last query, checking if the final for this class is canceled. And since it returns true, that means this final is canceled for this class, so have fun sleeping in at 8 a.m. on Monday.
Like any other programming language, Prolog comes with both its pros and cons. The pros being that logical programming provides a new way of finding solutions to problems. Because there are a limited number of statements, Prolog has a fast development time. And it's extremely efficient at backtracking, which is a recursive algorithm to find all potential solutions to a problem. Prolog's cons are that it's slow at mathematical computations, it has many different compilers and has difficulties with compilation, and it has limited practical applications.
Some uses of Prolog today are due to its clear and concise relationships. It is used in artificial intelligence, computational linguistics, and non-numerical programming. As well as being one of the first logical languages, it is still popular today and used for theorem proving, expert systems, and automated planning. And even some modern versions of Prolog now have systems that support GUI and administrative and networked applications.
This concludes our presentation on Prolog.
Thanks for watching, and we hope you enjoyed it.